Nigeria Police Force has paraded 17 suspected murderers after its men raided Enohia Itim village in Afikpo local government area of Ebonyi State on the ground that the suspects allegedly resorted to jungle justice and burned to death a man suspected of witchcraft activities, just as its men in Imo State command invaded kidnappers' hideout and rescued 4 hostages. Olumiwa Adejobi, the first spokesperson while parading the suspects on Monday before newsmen in Abuja, said 2 among the kidnappers in Imo State were shot dead during gun battle on Saturday. In a remarkable display of courage and commitment, police operatives attached to the Imo State Command successfully executed a daring rescue operation that led to the safe liberation of 4 kidnapped hostages. The operation was carried out on Saturday, January 4, 2025. After the operatives received a distress call reporting the abduction of 4 persons in Umukan, Ohaji local government area, Imo State. The police operatives swiftly swung into action, locating the criminal hideout and engaging the kidnappers in a fierce gun duel, during which 2 of the kidnappers were neutralized. The success of the operation led to the rescue of the 4 victims and the recovery of 1 AK-47 rifle, 1 AK-47 magazine and 21 rounds of live 7.62mm ammunition. The force reaffirms its resolute devotion to combating heinous crimes such as this, and assures members of the public that efforts to rid of criminal elements from our society will continue relentlessly, ensuring the safety and security of all residents. In another development, on the 3rd of January 2025, police operatives attached to the Ebonyi State Command arrested 17 suspects in Enohia Itim village, Afikpo local government area for the murder of 1 Urumchi Okorocha, male, who was accused by local youths of being involved in the killing of several individuals through alleged witchcraft and spiritual means. The suspects had mobilized and apprehended the deceased, but instead of handing him over to legal authorities and committing to the rule of law, they decided to take laws into their hands, becoming judge, jury and executioner. The police operatives of the Uana Division mobilized tactical teams to the scene on a rescue mission, but the angry mob had already killed and burned Mr. Okorocha before the arrival of the police team. The Inspector General of Police, IGP Kayode Adeolu Egbetukun, condemns this act of jungle justice in totality. Citizens are once again urged to refrain from taking laws into their hands and report any suspected criminal activities to the nearest police division or formation around them for necessary action. The efforts of the police are constant reaffirmations of the dedication to bring to book perpetrators of heinous acts of crime in our societies. The IGP once again reiterates the unwavering commitment of the force to public safety and justice for victims of violent crimes. Citizens are encouraged to engage with security agencies, providing any information that may assist in the ultimate goal of creating a utopian society for all. The Nigeria Police Force remains ever committed to ensuring a safe environment for everyone, Olumiwa Adejobi stated in the press release. Meanwhile, the Nigeria Police Force hereby addresses and clarifies a false and misleading claim circulating on X, formerly Twitter, made by one Adamu Gamba Zango, a lecturer at Base University. Mr. Zango, while recirculating a picture which has been in the Internet archives since 2019, alleged that it was that of a Deputy Commissioner of Police serving at the Kaduna State Police Command who was arrested for supplying firearms to bandits and kidnappers. He further shared the said image to support this baseless claim. It is pertinent to state that the individual depicted in the shared photograph is not a serving member of the Nigeria Police Force. Investigations have revealed that the man in the image is one Kingsley Udoye, a civilian who was arrested by the Akwa Ibom State Police Command on January 2, 2019 for impersonating an Assistant Commissioner of Police. At the time of his arrest, Udoyen was found to have been using a fake police rank to defraud and intimidate unsuspecting members of the public. Items recovered from his residence included an English pistol without ammunition and portraits of various police ranks. It is also important to point out that there is no connection between the Kaduna State Police Command and the false allegations propagated by Mr. Zango. The Nigeria Police Force condemns the spread of false information, which not only tarnishes the image of the force but also undermines public trust and safety. Members of the public are urged to verify information from credible sources before sharing. The Nigeria Police Force remains committed to transparency, accountability, and the pursuit of justice. Spreading unverified claims is a violation of laws concerning defamation and cybercrime, and the police may pursue appropriate legal action against individuals or entities involved in disseminating such falsehoods. For accurate information and updates, the public is encouraged to follow the official channels of the Nigeria Police Force on the following social media platforms: X, formerly Twitter, @Policing; Instagram, @Nigeria Police Force; Facebook, @Police; YouTube, @Policing; TikTok, @Police. Olumuyiwa Adejobi, the Nigeria Police Force Public Relations Officer, State Innocent Orji led Biafra Armed Group, Biafran Provincial Government, BPG has called on residents in southeast states to avoid night travel, and also warned secret cult members against cultism-related activities in the southeast geopolitical zone, with additional warnings to its armed men against Anambra State Governor Charles Chukwuma Soludo Amnesty program, cautioning its members to always use precision weapons and avoid killing civilians when in contact with Nigeria's security operatives. Innocent Orji stated this in a press statement issued on New Year Day. Few days after yet to be identified armed group invaded Enohia local government area, killing over 9 persons, both security operatives and civilians, with more persons, mostly vigilante members, killed at Oba community in the Idemili South local government area of the state. No group has claimed responsibility for the December 30, 2024 killings in Enohia and Oba community, but Innocent Orji in the New Year message warned against cultism, kidnappers and political thugs who are acting as unknown gunmen to cause mayhem in the southeast states. The violent activities by known state actors in Anambra State forced the state governor Soludo to declare a major state of emergency in the state on New Year Day, with 10 million naira's bounty placed on each head of any member of the killer squad killing security operatives and civilians in the state. Inspector General of Police, IGP Kayode Egbetokun, on Friday warned Biafra Armed Group, among others, that the force will no longer tolerate any act of assault and killing of its personnel. IGP, while speaking at the Enugu State Command of the Nigeria Police Force during his 2 days official visit ahead of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's visit to the state, ordered policemen to collectively respond appropriately to deal with anyone or group that assault or kill police officer. The Biafran Provincial Government, in a press statement issued earlier by its members in Awka, the Anambra State capital, stated in quote thus: in the final report after remote monitoring and information gathering, the Provincial Administrator of Awka Province, Colonel Okunwa Okafor, reiterates the conspiracy to instigate violence by agents of the occupying government of Nigeria, which notably amongst others includes defunct Anambra State Governor Professor Chukwuma Soludo and his political associates. It has been uncovered by our intel that recent call for amnesty by the defunct Anambra State Governor is to protect his cousins who were apprehended for cultism and political thuggery, leading to the violence escalating in Awka and its environs. The agenda as set for the proposed amnesty is the recruitment of the recipients as security agents in affiliation with the occupying forces to hunt and eliminate pro-Biafra activists and sympathizers. To cover up his complicity and that of his political associates in the escalation of violence in defunct Anambra State, Professor Chukwuma Soludo is blaming the pro-Biafra group, IPOB, while offering a deadline of February 2025 for acceptance of amnesty. Meanwhile, the illegal rendition and long-term arbitrary detention of IPOB leader, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, as conspired by cohorts of the occupying government of Nigeria, including Professor Chukwuma Soludo, in order to remain politically relevant in the former eastern region of Nigeria, failed woefully, as indigenous Biafrans are more determined to exercise their inalienable rights to self-determination, national sovereignty, independence and territorial integrity as accorded by indigenous, regional and international laws, resolutions, instruments, procedures and decisions. Also exposed by our intel is that the overall acceptance of amnesty by the pro-Biafra group, IPOB, is now set as a prerequisite for the release of the IPOB leader, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, from detention of the occupying government of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is a prisoner of conscience and has not committed any crime. The spurious charges instituted against him is without evidence and cannot be proven in any court of legal jurisdiction. The Biafran Provincial Government (BPG), Government of the State of Biafra, hereby notifies Professor Chukwuma Soludo that his threats to indigenous Biafrans in defunct Anambra State to forcefully remove us from our lands and also restricting us from practicing our customs and traditions is totally in contravention of the Charter of the United Nations, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights and international human rights law, which includes the United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples, UNDRIP. The massacres of defenseless indigenous Biafrans by the occupying terrorist forces of Nigeria in Opoko, 2006 Ezo River, 2008 Oka, 2015 Onitsha Held Bridge, 2015 Tazan, 2015 Mpo, 2016, including the ground assault and aerial bombardment still ongoing in several communities in defunct Anambra State, have proven the urge for self-political interest instead of the well-being, growth and development of indigents and their homelands. Colonel Okunwa Okafor called on the Biafran military troops deployed to defunct Anambra State to be properly guided by the military mandate, principles and rules of engagement as established by the Biafran National Guard (BNG), which is capable of overwhelming the enemy forces, protecting peace and the guarantee of stability and development in territories of the state of Biafra. In conclusion, he drew attention to the necessity of perseverance by the civilian populace to be able to navigate our right to self-defense as a shared responsibility to safeguard our lives and protect our fundamental human rights, said Chinazo Ama, who identified self as captain in charge of media and communications of Oka Province, Biafran Provincial Government. The head of the armed group, Innocent Orji, in a New Year message, said, "The Biafran Provincial Government (BPG), Government of the State of Biafra, heartily welcomes indigents, citizens and friends of the sovereign state of Biafra into the year 2025, which is our year of fulfillment. The year 2025 is geared towards the fulfillment of our inalienable rights to self-determination, national sovereignty, independence and territorial integrity in the 31 provinces including the national provincial capital, Letu Eda of the state of Biafra. The government of the state of Biafra appreciates the patriotism of the indigents and citizens in ensuring the workability of our administration and self-defense in recovered territories of the state of Biafra. The indigents and citizens of the state of Biafra must continue to ensure that criminal elements do not operate in their communities under the disguise of unknown gunmen. Those who engage in kidnapping, armed robbery, cultism, political thuggery and other vices within the occupied territories of the state of Biafra are hereby warned to cease such heinous acts that brings forth anarchy to indigenous Biafrans. The peoples of Biafra domiciled in the conflict-affected zones in Biafran territories are advised to avoid any engagement or travel during night time for safety and security reasons. It is important that indigenous Biafran youths reject every incentive for amnesty program from agents of the occupying government of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Anyone who accepts the amnesty is accepting that she is a criminal and wishes to be pardoned by the agents of the occupying terrorist forces and government of Nigeria. The human rights and fundamental freedom of the peoples and government of the state of Biafra is legal, existing and sacrosanct. The release of IPOB leader Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is imminent and should not be used as a bait to deceive the people of Biafra by agents of the occupying terrorist forces and government of Nigeria. It is essential for indigenous Biafrans to pledge into the military-civil converge as administrated by the Biafran Supreme Military Council of Administration (BSMCA), which is a comprehensive approach to security within the scope of military, socio-political, economic, environmental and human dimensions. We should strengthen commitments to the Biafran military-civil converge to enable us live safer and build a more prosperous future for the state of Biafra as redeclared, proclaimed, restored, re-established, and the Biafran national flag of independence hoisted at the Defense Headquarters, 2nd Division, Nsukka Province on the 30th of October 2021. The Biafran Provincial Government (BPG), Government of the State of Biafra, shall continue to be critical and practical on poverty, food security, education, global development, peace and prospects of building strong institutions. I, General Innocent Orji, GCSB, reiterates the need for brotherliness amongst the civilian and military populace to ensure the elimination of rogue and non-state groups in territories of the state of Biafra. Every Biafran military troops deployed for documents should minimize the risk to civilians, prioritize aerial and ground surveillance, and also make use of precision weaponry. The Biafran Provincial Government (BPG) inaugurated as the bona fide administrating power in Bende Province on the 30th of October 2023 after extensive consultations, interactions and mutual agreement by the Biafran Supreme Military Council of Administration (BSMCA) with indigenous community representatives, elders, youths, age grade and women, is diligently working towards the fulfillment of the discussion, formal recognition and full participation of the State of Biafra as the 194th member state of the United Nations and 56th nation in the African continent. A wonderful and cheerful New Year 2025 to every indigenous Biafrans and lovers of freedom across the globe, said Innocent Orji, who identified self as head of state, Biafran Provincial Government, BPG, and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the State of Biafra, National Provincial Capital. Nigeria Inspector General of Police, IGP Kayode Egbetokun, has issued a stern warning to Biafra armed groups and other non-state actors killing police officers in the southeast states and other geopolitical zones in the country that the force will no longer tolerate any act of assault or killing of policemen in the country. Stating this on Friday in Enugu State ahead the official visit of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to the state on Saturday, IGP ordered policemen to respond appropriately to any aggression against men of the force. IGP gave the warning during his official visit to the Enugu State Command, emphasizing that there must be appropriate response from the force against attackers of policemen. IGP vowed that the force will no longer tolerate any assault on his officers and men, let alone killing any officer, no matter the situation. We will not tolerate any assault on our police officers, not to talk of killing. An assault on a policeman is criminal, is an assault on the IGP, and we are not going to kindly any act of assault on our officers, not talk of killing any of our officers. Anywhere there is killing of any policeman, you must all respond collectively and appropriately. There must be appropriate response from us. Where a policeman is assaulted, there must be appropriate response to it. We will not tolerate it anymore. In this year 2025, we are going to say no to assault on our officers. We are going to say no, capital no, to killing of any of our men, he insisted. Egbetokun promised that the force was working with the Nigerian government to address the welfare of its personnel. Although he raised concerns over few police officers and men who are tarnishing the image of the force, he commended the policemen in Enugu State for their professional conduct in discharging their duties. He said, "I want to assure you officers and men of Enugu State Command that we recognize the good job that you are doing. You are very hard-working. You are committed. You are diligent in the discharge of your duties. I have met the governor earlier on and he was full of praises for officers and men of this command. I am super proud of your achievements and your conduct generally. I also want to tell you that as very good that you have been doing, there are still few bad eggs among you that are giving us concerns." The force spokesperson, Olumiwa Adejobi, in a news release, reported that the IGP arrived Enugu State on a two-day official visit aimed at strengthening security and fostering collaboration with key stakeholders in the region. The IGP is accompanied by the Deputy Inspector General of Police, DIG, in charge of the Southeast, Dick Frank, the AIG Zone 13, AIG Godwin N. Agolo, the AIG FCID Annex, Enugu, and Kwazibizigu Dali, Commissioners of Police of Enugu and Anambra States, and other senior officers. As part of his engagements, the IGP paid a courtesy visit to the Governor of Enugu State, His Excellency Dr. Peter N. Mba, during which discussions centered on strategies to enhance the security architecture of the state and ensure the safety of lives and property. The IGP reiterated the commitment of the Nigeria Police Force to maintaining peace and security across the country and extensively to Enugu State. Following his visit to the governor, the IGP proceeded to the Enugu Council of Traditional Rulers, where he was warmly received by the chairman, His Royal Majesty, Igwe Samuel Asabo, and other esteemed traditional rulers. The Inspector General of Police further emphasized the critical role of traditional institutions in enhancing community-based security initiatives and urged their continued support and collaboration in addressing security challenges in the state. This visit underscores the IGP's dedication to community-oriented policing and his resolve to engage with diverse stakeholders to strengthen trust, cooperation, and proactive crime prevention measures in Enugu State and the Southeast region at large. Addressing the officers and men, the IGP harped on discipline, professionalism, and decency. Every police officer is enjoined to portray pleasant character at all times, showing empathy to citizens while discharging their lawful duties. The Nigeria Police Force remains resolute in its mission to protect lives and property while fostering peace, stability, and development across the nation. The force news release ends in quote.
Bringing you the news in a more digital way.